all know that when it comes to buying a house or even being a homeowner, there's going to come times that you have to look up the records for your particular property. Now, this video is going to be very specific to a particular county in the state of Maryland, my area, right? And this video is mainly meant for the local people who do business in that area. And the reason I have to make this caveat is that my audience is international and mostly national. So if you don't live here, that's okay. Don't worry. This information can still help you get records in your particular property. So what we're going to look at is we're going to look at the Howard County Health Department, their record search, and I'm going to show you how to use the online resources that come with the health department through Howard County to where you can look up the records on any property. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to Realtor.com. Just pick that random one. It could be Redfin, Remax, whatever. We're going to pick a random house and we're going to look up the records and we're going to see what we find. The purpose of this is to help people find the paperwork for their house. I recognize that a lot of homes might not have a paper trail, but a lot of times there is. You need to know what's on your property, what was done to your property, especially when it comes to additions. Maybe you have to replace your septic system. Maybe you want a shed. In Howard County, you have to pull permits for all of those things. So you have to make sure you know what's on the property. Other counties in our state also need to know what's on the ground, but Howard County, Baltimore County, and Frederick County seem to be the ones making the most aggressive push to make sure that people aren't doing things that are silly. So if your county or state is different from this, the rules are pretty much going to be very much similar. Usually the records department or the health department will have whatever paperwork you need for either the well or the septic. So let's go ahead, take a look real quick into what you need to query on Google in order to find the Howard County Health Department website. So the very first thing that we're going to need to look at is obviously Google. So it's real simple. All you do is just type in Howard County well and septic records. And the very first thing that we see is going to be this guy right here. We're going to go ahead, click on that, and it brings us to this page. Now, on this page, you're going to see a lot of information. On the right side, you're going to see that we have the contact us and the phone number. This is in case you get stuck or you don't know where else to look. Generally speaking, most of the time, they're going to want you to email them and fill out a form right over here, the public information request. That form brings you to a different site to where you have to create an account. In our state, most counties have something very similar to this, to where you have to create an account and then you have to fill out the paperwork and then they'll respond. Most of them have 30 days, I believe, is the number that they have to respond to you. Most of the counties will get back to you pretty quick. Your state, your county probably has something very similar to this, but as you can see, all we did was we just clicked on it. We went right to the health department, brought us to the septic and well program. Your county or state may not have as nice of a website as this one. They probably spent a lot of money on it. Not sure. I know they tax people like crazy, so they probably have the money to do it. The one that we're looking at today, though, is going to be the one right here, the public file search. So by clicking on that, it brings us to this page. On this page, the main thing you want is the search function. So by doing this, you can type in the property address and find it. You can also use the tax identification number to do that as well. That one I don't usually have as much success with. So mostly using the street number and the street name, you'll usually find it. There are times, especially if you get older homes on older roads, where maybe the road name changed and it might be a little bit more difficult to find the actual house. So what we're going to do is let's go ahead, hop over to Realtor.com, and we have all of Howard County selected. So let's go ahead, take a peek at a random house. Let's go ahead, pick this one, right? $1,375,000. Beautiful looking home. And let's go ahead and take our property, put it into the search bar, and see what we get. Now, usually when I copy these, I don't include the court, road, things of that nature, because usually what'll end up happening is you can't find it. So by putting this in, we already have one hit. So you can see here that we got some records. So let's go ahead, click on those and see what this property has. So this particular property is going to have this level of paperwork. As you can see, we have 12 pages, and each one is going to tell us what's going on for this particular property. When we're looking at this, and all of this is public information, so you can do this on any house that you want. We just pick this one at random, and we can see here that it was actually permitted for a 4-bedroom house. But if you look down here, somebody put a 5-bed. That can cause some headaches in the transaction, right? But no big deal. We're not here to worry about that. So we can see that we have a 1,250-gallon septic tank. We can see all of the design specs for the system. So you'll see that we have the driveway, and then on the left side of the house, we'll have the tank and 3 drain fields. It looks like that they actually switched to a 1,500-gallon tank. This is going to be all of our perk test information, the perk test sites, the results of the perk test. This will tell us our site plan, so the reserve area for the septic system, the house, the driveway, the lot lines. All of this stuff you can find so easily. And as a homeowner, if this particular person wanted to build, let's just say they wanted to put a pool in, we don't know if this house has a pool, we can see that in this back area on the right side of the property, you can't put a pool. But on the left side, sure. Or if you want to be a madman and put it in the middle or in the front yard, yeah, you could do that too, right? So if we keep scrolling down, not only do we have information on the septic, we also have information for the well. We can see our permit request to drill a well. We can see that they drilled a well that's 185 feet deep, drilled at 20 gallons per minute. That's a great well yield. And then we can also see the results and who did the test. So we can see all of this information whenever we want for whatever property. So if you're trying to look this stuff up, it's really, really easy. And that's why I wanted to make this video today. So let's go ahead, pick a different one, and we'll see what we can find there as well. So we had that particular house. Let's go ahead, pick this one, all right? $849,000 house, Daisy Road. Let's go ahead and copy this one into the search function, and we will see what result we get. So we'll go back to this page. We'll click on search, and then we will go ahead, toss that in, and then now we see that we have more information. So sometimes this is a great example that when you're looking up records, you might get one nice, pretty package where all of the records are in one spot. Sometimes you get multiple, like this one. So we have our well yield, our septic permit, perk application, and they did a repair. So we can see that the original permit was from 1966, and then they did a repair in 2020. So let's go ahead and open both of these up and see what happened on this particular property. So that is our old one. We'll get rid of that. This is going to be the repair. This is going to be the 1966. So again, same paperwork as the other house. We can see that they had a 5-bedroom property. This is actually a 4-bedroom, so they actually cut back. They might have combined, they might have done something different. But we can see that this property had a 1,250-gallon tank, 1966. We can see that the front of the house with the driveway on the right? So somewhere right over here is where the septic should be. And then they would have a distribution box to 2 dry wells. So I bet you the dry well probably failed from that system. So let's go ahead and take a look at the new records from 2020. So it looks like they had to replace the tank. So that means the tank was probably leaking. Good news for a purchaser of this particular property is now you know before you even put an offer on a house, you have a brand new tank. Now, while we're looking at these records, we can also see that they connected to the existing absorption system. So what does that mean? Well, if you have a brand new tank with an existing absorption system, the absorption system's still potentially going to fail down the road. So that means you got to budget for eventual replacement. But we can see, oh, here it is, leaking mid-seam tank. And then now you went ahead, this company went ahead, pulled the permit, put a new tank in, and this house is probably good to go. So whenever it goes under contract, they're probably golden. This is super easy. You can do this. I have faith in you. Every county might have a different way of organizing the paperwork. Howard County is really, really good where you can pull all these records super fast yourself. It saves a lot of time for the people that work there. Some counties, you have to request it and then they will send you whatever they get. Like Carroll County, that's what you have to do. Your county or your state, if you don't live in Maryland, might be a little bit different. If you're in a different country, I have no idea how your property processes work. So talk to your local regional office for the health department or whoever deals with permits or construction. They'll get you in the right spot. It's always important, right? You got to know what's on your property. And if you're buying a property, you have to know what has happened on that property in the past. If you don't know what's there, you could be walking into an entirely huge mess and it can get really, really expensive really, really fast. I hope that I brought some value. like I said, this was supposed to be a super easy, super quick one just to show you how to do it and give you some real examples, just picking random houses. That way you can do this yourself, right? I get a lot of questions on it. And if you enjoyed this, hit that like button, hit subscribe. And hopefully this helped you get further in whatever project you're doing. I look forward to talking to you guys tomorrow.